Hey everyone, I'm just going to wait here for a little bit to see if we can get some more people to join. Um, as you can probably tell, it's been quite a while since I posted a video up online, and I'm trying to correct that. It's going to be a slow process, but we're going to get there in the end. So I'll just give it another 30 seconds, give or take, and then we'll get started um, on my topics tonight. Well, look, that's close enough. It's basically been a minute since I started, so let's kick this off. So, of course, today is World Mental Health Day, which is October the 10th. Obviously, that's a great initiative for those that are suffering from, mental illness. But it has been pointed out to me that a lot of the time we seem to get some traction on these sort of days, and then poof, basically it disappears. Gets swept back under the rug for the next 364 days or whatever it is. And so we need to work. Everyone needs to keep working on constantly reaching out to friends and family to make sure that they're still okay. This year has been especially challenging, with COVID-19, and I've said it any number of times. It has literally sucked the soul out of so many people, and we need to do what we can to help others right now at this very time, because we don't know what somebody else is actually going through, and that's part of the reason why tonight I decided to do this live, because just recently I've entered into a depressive episode, probably the worst one I've had for a very long time now. And so after talking with my GP and my psychologist, they are the actual ones that thought that maybe this is a good topic to actually discuss with you all, so that you don't get an unrealistic expectation about mental health, and it's just going to disappear, and everything's going to be all roses. For some people they're lucky like that, and for others it's a continuing struggle, that you just have to keep continuing with. So look, that wraps up, the part about World Mental Health Day. As I said, just keep checking on friends and family, and make sure you're there to listen to them. People don't necessarily need you to come up with solutions to their problems. They're more looking for somebody who will listen to their problems, with empathy, and maybe offer the occasional, little bit of advice here and there. So moving on, back in August, I think it was August 25th, I actually sent an email to the Victorian Mental Health Minister, Minister Foley, because I had noticed there were some deficiencies in the mental health system here in Victoria. And the two deficiencies that I found that were, pretty glaringly obvious were that, accessing services outside of business hours is like pulling teeth. It is so difficult. You need to end up in hospital, or, and then you might end up waiting in the emergency department for hours on end, waiting for the CAT team to turn up. And then when the CAT team does actually turn up, not a lot sort of happens, generally speaking, which isn't so good for people who are reaching out. They're not doing it, because they're bored on a Sunday night. I can assure you of this now. as where I sit, that is not why they're doing it. They're reaching out for help, and in a lot of cases, they're not getting that help that they need. And of course, the other issue that I saw that was a big problem to me is people that are reaching out, even in normal business hours, that are what I would refer to as pre-suicidal. And by that, I mean people who, may have those suicidal thoughts and feelings. Maybe potentially they have part of a plan in place. And they reach out and, ask for help. And quite often, they're just sort of turned around and sent home. And that's not really good enough. Like, why do we need to wait for people to actually attempt suicide before we can actually help them? That makes no sense to me. Why wouldn't we be trying to head it off at the pass and get them, the help they need? So anyway, I sent this off, and I didn't really expect much to happen, to be honest. It's not really that I thought that the government didn't give a crap, but they've got pretty big fish to fry here at the moment, especially in Victoria and Melbourne. With the lockdown and COVID and everything else going on. But I actually got a call probably 2 weeks after I sent the email from the office of the chief psychiatrist, which surprised me greatly. And they were saying that they wanted to make sure I was okay because I had put in there that I did have mental health illnesses, and just gave me some general information on services that might be able to help others. So I've got that written down. I just need to get it put somewhere online, for other people. And I kind of didn't think about it much more because I just assumed that was going to be the end of, the end of the process. And I think it was actually on either Thursday or Friday that's just passed. I got an email from the executive director of DHHS, who is responsible for the mental health and wellbeing department. And he acknowledged that there were those issues that I had brought to light, and that the Royal Commission that had been held in Victoria into mental health had also identified those deficiencies, and that an interim report had already been issued by the Commission, and that the government had started to implement a number of the recommendations straight away. And I believe the final report is due sometime next year. I can't quite remember. I might look it up later and just add it on as a comment or something to this video. So I was pleasantly surprised to actually hear from, our sort of elected representatives, and hear that they are acknowledging that there are problems with our system, and that they are looking to improve those services for us. So I thought that was worth mentioning on World Mental Health Day as well, because that's something relatively positive, I thought. So anyway, moving on, sort of the final topic of discussion for the evening, and I'm aware this video is a bit longer than normal. I'll try and keep this, this episode condensed a bit for make sure it doesn't go on forever and ever. But as some might know, recently my daughter came out to me, I think it was last Wednesday night. So not the one that just gone, but the one before it, and mentioned that she was having suicidal thoughts and feelings, had a plan, and really couldn't guarantee her safety. So after calling the psychiatric triage service, which is run by Monash Health, I took her into the hospital, and she was assessed, and she got admitted for a few days. into the adolescent units. And she's home now, so that's good. She's feeling much better and much happier. And she seems to have, gained, some more optimism about the future. She's thinking about things she'd like to do. So I think that's a good win. But unfortunately, on Sunday, I broke, and I broke pretty big for me. I woke up and I must have cried for like 3 or 4 hours straight. I'm not ashamed to admit it. I was getting the kids breakfast. I was, cleaning the cat litter. I was putting washing on, and I'm just bawling. And I couldn't, really put my finger on what was wrong. I think it was just a combination of things that had just finally pushed me to the point where I had been. So as a little bit of background, just recently I've been diagnosed with fibromyalgia, which is causing pain all across my body, which I could really do without. But hey, who am I to knock back another illness? And massive insomnia. Only sleeping for a couple of hours during the night. But weirdly, I can sleep a fair bit during the day. So make that as you will. Anyway, my wife sent me back to bed on Sunday, and that's pretty much where I stayed for the majority of the day. I was just feeling miserable and really down on myself. I'm writing, as some of you might know, I'm writing a book on mental health and my journey. Part 2 of that book is a self-help book. And, I was thinking to myself, who the hell are you to be telling anyone about how to improve their mental health with your particular background and the fact that you can't even control your own. I felt like a total fraud. I'm not going to lie. And it was actually while I was talking to my psychologist who got me an emergency session on Thursday, and he said, that doesn't make you a fraud. That actually makes you genuine, showing, you're trying to help other people to feel better while you feel miserable inside. And he also said, and this is something that others might benefit from actually seeing themselves and hearing you speak about it. So that sort of helped prompt this particular session. My GP was really good too. I ended up taking about 40 minutes of his time yesterday on Friday in the evening. So I feel about this big for taking so much of his time. But he listened to me and helped me with pain meds and something to help me to sleep and painkillers. So that was good. And last night I got better night's sleep. I still wouldn't say it was picture perfect, but it was better than it has been in the last couple of weeks. As you can sort of tell right now, I'm not. If I was going to place myself somewhere on a scale, I'd say I'm sitting in the middle. I'm not, jumping for joy, but I'm also not, in the depths of despair. To be honest, I've been in the depths of despair. It's not pretty, and I am my own worst enemy. As I said to my doctor, and I mean this, Hitler was a better guy than me. I'm that hard on myself. Someone else could make the same mistakes I make, and I'll forgive them in a heartbeat. But me doing that, man, what a retard, what a moron. What are you doing? How can you do that? I can't, and that's something even to this day that I still, can't quite get over. You know, and that's, I'm 39 years now. I've been dealing with a lot of this since I was 13. So, it may never 100% disappear for me, but it is what it is. And I sort of have come to terms with that. And I guess I've learned over the years how to dig myself back out of that big round hole that I do fall into on occasion. It's a good skill for others that suffer also to learn, how to get yourself back out, and that can involve self-care, reaching out to the people that you need to for assistance, such as GPs and psychologists and psychiatrists, and as demonstrated my daughter, we had to talk to the psychiatric triage service. We had to hospitalize her, and these are all scary things. Nobody really wants to be in a mental health ward. It's not exactly Christmas in there. You see a lot of people that are going through a lot of things, but sometimes it's what's needed to actually keep you safe, and to keep you alive, keep you going, because there is hope. It's just depression has this fantastic ability to completely convince us that we are useless and that we are not deserving of anything, and that it convinces us that the only way out at that exact point is to go and end our lives. And it's very good at it. It's an actual battle, I say, between your mind and yourself, and it sometimes it's a war. It takes a long time to work on those things. So look, I wanted people to see and hear from me, just coming out of this now, so that not to bring you down, not to make you question life or anything like that, but just to show you that sometimes, yes, you might fall into that pit of despair, and despite your very best efforts, it's just going to be, and you need to work on strategies to help pull yourself out of that pit of despair, and get back on with everything at hand. So look, I hope that was useful for people. I'm kind of conscious that it's now about 18 minutes this has been going, so it's a bit to listen to. I do have a comment here from someone asking what are the best ways to ease anxiety. Now, I in my earlier years, so when I was diagnosed, or when I started with my depression, back when I was 13, I also had severe panic attacks, to the point where I would actually black out. So I might collapse on the lawn or in the classroom, or God knows where. And at the time, you could feel your heart pounding, and you were sweaty, and you just had this impending sense of doom just hanging over your head, and it's really hard to come to terms with that. So I've spoken about it in my book. Obviously, I've got a number of techniques in there that I've personally found over the years that have helped. But like some of them that I can remember straight off the top of my head is, distracting yourself, so, maybe watching a movie or listening to music. For me, it depends what the mood I'm in as to what I might listen to. So if I'm feeling really heightened, and very, excitable, I'll actually cue the sad love songs, as sappy as that sounds, because that tends to knock me back down. If I'm feeling really down, I'll actually cue the songs that have got some serious bass to it, or that sort of have that that high beat to it, and that tends to bring me up, so I can sort of distract myself those ways too. Um, you know, reaching out to a friend or family member to tell them that you're having problems right then and there. Um, what else can I think of? There's so many that I just can't recall them all. Unfortunately, my short-term memory is not the actual best. And so it's good that this book is coming out, because at least I'll have something to reference for people to say, hey, go check that out, because not only does it say my life story, but it's also got all these helpful hints and tips and things that I've come across that worked in my life. Look, I hope that helps a little bit with your question about the best ways to ease anxiety. And obviously, feel free to leave another comment if you need something more specific. I am happy to take requests for for lives, and I do want to do them a bit more. As I said, I'm sort of with COVID and the lockdown and everything else, I haven't really been at the top of my game, but I am working on improving that. And so, yeah, I would encourage you, submit your comments and your questions and share and likes and subscribes and whatever you need to do, because I really do want to help other people, because there's one thing that I have come to accept, which is you can actually have a pretty good life, even with a mental illness, but it will take hard work, therapy, medicines, a whole bunch of things, really, to sort of get to that point where you can exist peacefully, I guess I would say. Look, so I'm going to shut up now, and I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I've seen people popping in and out since I started talking, so I'm really grateful for anyone who's popped in to listen, and maybe you're even watching this after the fact now. I really do want the best for you. I'm happy for you to reach out if you need someone to talk to that understands what you're going through. Obviously, I'm also a parent who has a child with a mental illness as well. So, I do have an understanding of that part of the system too, and how different it is to the adult side of the mental health system. Anyway, look, thanks very much, everyone. Have a fantastic evening or morning or afternoon, wherever you are in the world. I'll talk to you guys next time. Thanks so much.